I'm going to tell you how you can read 6 books that'll give you a thrill in just one day. You should read the Amazon original Deadly Ambition collection. It's a collection of 6 short stories written by 6 different authors. Book 1 is called The Price of Honey. This was a great book to start the collection. It's the shortest of the 6, and it immediately drew me into the series. Its storyline takes place in the modern day, and the twist at the end could be ripped from the headlines, because if it hasn't happened yet, it is soon to happen. I gave this story 5 stars. Even though it was a short story, it had every element it needed to make it a great story. Book 2 is called The Roommate. This is also set in modern times, and it really reminded me of like a true crime type of thing, a true crime podcast or a true crime show. It involved a reality show, and whose reality was the big question at hand. Once again, the story pulled you in, even though it was a tad bit predictable, not as predictable as some of the others in the series, but I could see where it was going the more I read on. There was an interesting twist at the end, and overall, it really made sense to be in this collection. I gave it 4 stars. It was a good book, and it would have been a good book as a standalone because I could see there being some more put to the story. Book number 3 is called You'll Miss Me When I'm Gone. Now, this was the longest in the series. It had the makings of a really good story, but at the same time, I could see where it was going kind of right from the beginning. Now, I'm no sleuth, and I do not consider myself someone who can easily predict books, but I'm also pretty good at watching things unfold and putting 2 and 2 together. So as the story started to shape up, I had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen, but there were still some interesting surprises. Now, I know you may be wondering why I'm not telling you more about the story. They're all short stories, so if I give you too much detail, I'll basically tell you the whole story. So you're going to have to go read them to find out the twists and turns that I'm talking about, because I promise you, you'll be able to get through this in one day if you put your mind to it. Book 4 was called Fatal Delivery. Now, I really liked this story. It was short, it was simple, it was to the point, it held the theme nicely. There was a neurodiverse character, and even though it didn't out and out say it, you could just tell by the writing that the person had a neurodiversity. I love to see various character types represented in books, including neurodiversity, because I don't think it gets explored enough. And when it does, if it's handled the right way, it's beautiful. In this sense, it added to the story, and it really helped build a framework for the whodunit in this particular story. I gave this one a 4 star. I think it was a fair rating. Again, it made sense in this collection, and I enjoyed reading it. Book 5 is called The Silent Muse. Now, this is the one that I liked the least. I only gave it 2 stars, and I was being generous. At the end of the book, I found out that it was written by someone who had also written another book that I had high hopes for, and it really ended up falling flat for me. So once I saw that it was that author, because I didn't recognize her name at the beginning, I said, oh, I guess this might be showing me a trend. And be mindful, if you read 1 or 2 books by an author and you have the same reaction, it's likely that you don't like that author's writing. And that doesn't mean that you wouldn't want to share a pizza with them. It just means you're not into their book. And that's okay, because they have plenty of other people who are and who will happily buy them. So the book is okay. And yes, it makes sense to be in the collection. But like I said, it was my least favorite. Book 6 is called The Line. Now, this book could have been number 1 in my opinion, but I'm glad that they started out with The Price of Honey. In the order of those that I liked, it was The Price of Honey and then this one. They were closely tied together. I really enjoyed the fact that this was a throwback story to the 80s, and I really enjoyed just the setup. It really made sense, again, for the collection, for how the story developed, and I really admired all of the author's ability to capture so much in so little time. I think this collection is a great idea, and I would read more like this. This was the first one that I've ever come across on Amazon, so I'll be looking out for more. What I loved is that you could either read it on Kindle Unlimited or listen to it. Now, in hindsight, I kind of wish I listened to it, but I end up reading all of them. But either way, they were all very easy reads, and you can definitely finish it in one day. I was able to read these books because I was warmed up by my favorite mystery thriller writer, Miss Lisa Jewell. I absolutely love her books. I have read so many books by her. Now, this one I got at the thrift store. It is on my to be read list, but I read Then She Was Gone, None of This Is True, an amazing one, The Night She Disappeared, and several others, and I really like Lisa Jewell's writing. I also enjoy Shari Lapena, who after Lisa is one of my favorite mystery, psychological thriller type of writers. And with the exception of the one I like the least in this collection, I'd probably read other writings by these authors because again, they piqued my interest enough to see how they would do in other longer novels. Have you ever read a collection like this? If so, share it below so I can get into more of these types of collections. It was an easy read. And again, I love those that you can read or listen to. You can spend a day by the pool or at the beach and get several books under your belt in one fell swoop. If you have read the collection, let me know your favorite in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.